We are back, baby. We are f***ing back. We are back. Classic. We are back. We are back.
Did you know that they put the truth in movies and TV shows? Have you ever seen SpongeBob? This is Sandy Squirrel, and she's a scientist underwater in an astronaut costume. And this is Sandy's house. Look at the dome. It's telling you without telling you.
So I had to jump on here too and talk about SpongeBob because I found out. Have y'all heard about Bikini Atoll? It is the testing site for 23 nuclear bombs by the U.S. government. So let's go to Google Map. Okay, here is Bikini Atoll, which is Bikini Bottom. And then when you go to the pictures, hang on, wait.
Wait, guys, look at this. What does that remind you of?
I love this debate right here. The earth's not flat, it's round. That can be proven. They wouldn't lie about it, why would they? Well, it's not that, and they do lie about it. Starting at a very young age, they indoctrinate you with this. So then we get to the why of it. Why would they lie about it? It's pretty simple, really. It's to keep you away from God. If they came out and told you that there was no Big Bang and you weren't blasting through space at 67,000 miles an hour, the earth was fixed and your creator, God, was sitting over the top of you, looking over you every day and he loved you, wouldn't that bring you closer to him? Wouldn't that bring a lot of people closer to him? Of course it would. The fact is that Satan doesn't want you getting closer to your creator, doesn't want you to know him. And you don't have to believe in Satan or God, but if you don't, that's all the devil needs to win. See, he didn't need you to believe in him, or he doesn't need you to believe in God. He just needs you to not believe, and then he can claim your soul. So some of you may say, why do I need to believe in the Bible? That's just an old book written thousands of years ago. It's made up, it's been altered, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me just tell you, it doesn't cost you anything to believe in it. And if it's all made up and wrong, like some of you say, you got nothing to lose. But if it's right and you believe in it, you stand everything to gain.
Here's a video of the sun where it actually appears to already be setting on the horizon, but when you zoom in with the Nikon camera, as you can see, it starts to all come back into frame because it's actually just getting further away from you. It's not setting below anything. We're not on a globe. The earth is flat. And as you can see, as he zooms back out, it goes right back down.
The reason why New York and London have different times is because it's a daytime in one place, it's a nighttime in the other. This happens because the earth is round, not flat.
Psalm 19 verse 4, in them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. Right, so like the word says, the sun is going in a circuit, which is why he compared it to a strong man running a race. When you run a race in a racetrack, you go in circles. And the sun shines on one spot at a time, which is why we get night and day.
Stationary. Stationary means not changing, not moving.
The earth is stationary. It says in Psalms 104 verse 5, he set the earth on its foundations. It can never be moved.
If flat earth is true, it means everything you've been told since you were born could be a lie. And matter of fact, it turns out flat earth is true. And no, it's not the salvation issue, but it is the one thing that can break you out of the matrix and help you realize you're surrounded by lies. So you just sound like someone who is not in love with the truth when you say it doesn't matter. It does matter to people who love truth, and God is truth. So searching for truth is the way that God recommends that you find him.
What's up, TikTok? I got a issue, and I have a problem with this article right here. So, dickheads over here decided they would take it upon themselves. You know what? Just read the dark fine print. What they just let me move the out the way. Not only that NASA don't believe in the creator, now they doing this. They bending the word. It's about to be a deep ass conversation, bro. It's about to be a deep ass conversation. If anybody wanna hop on this conversation or start this conversation on their live, I just want every single flat earther to share this fucking post right here. Share this fucking post because this is urgent. Not only they took it upon themselves to do this, share this post. It's about to be a deep conversation about this shit, bro.
Are you curious how the seasons work on a flat earth? Well, if you stick around, I think I can help. The first thing you need to understand is that the sun and the moon are close. They're within the Earth system and they circle around us. And I am going to show you with actual scientific evidence that not only do they circle us, but the sun changes its speed and its location where it rises throughout the year. Now, if you look at this beautiful sky clock overlaid with the flat Earth map, you can see that every 24 hours, the sun is doing a loop, which creates night and day, and the moon is doing the same thing, but about every 25 hours. Now, what the sun also does is it makes smaller circles in the northern hemisphere during our summer months, so June, July, August, September, and it starts to make larger circles and increase its speed as we move to winter in the northern hemisphere and the south moves to their summer because the sun is closer to them. And this is evident based on how long daylight lasts as the sun is setting. Now, like I said, there is evidence that the sun picks up its speed, which it would have to do to make larger loops. And this isn't just a theory. Like I said, there's evidence I'm going to show you. And not only that, but I'm going to show you evidence of the sun rising in a different location from month to month to month based on exactly what I'm saying here. What I quickly want to show you is that a general time-lapse photography video is about 30 frames per second. That's the standard. Now keep that in mind as I show you these next two quick videos. So this is the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan in the winter, clearly with the ice. And I just want you to watch how fast the sun sets because it's moving faster in the winter months and how fast the daylight goes away. Real fast. Now, same bridge, very similar location. The sun is starting in a very similar location. And this video takes about 3 minutes in the same time-lapse speed. And I'll wait here for a second and you will see the sun sets extremely slow in the summer compared to in the winter months when it has to be moving faster to make those larger loops around the flat realm you live in. I'm going to stop it here and skip ahead a little and you'll see the daylight slowly goes away instead of the winter when it's gone in an instant. Now again, I'm going to let this just play for a second, but I want you to think back to winter times. When the sun goes down, it gets dark real fast. And in the summer, when the sun goes beyond the horizon or to the vanishing point where you can no longer see its light, the light from the sun still lasts because it's moving much, much slower. And again, just to compare that to how quickly it sets here. Watch how fast this is moving in the wintertime. Same time-lapse speed. This video is 17 seconds. The other one's 5 minutes. Dark. Okay, so what I want to do now is show you the location of the sun and how it changes from month to month based on its rotation around the flat realm. Now, this is November. That direction is south towards Chicago, and it's right above the scoreboard. So remember, above the scoreboard, November. Now, it's not above, it's December, it's gone further south. like it does until the winter solstice, where it'll continue to go and then start coming back. Okay, so it's January now. It's hit the winter solstice. It's raised over there, and now it's starting to make its way back north. So February, it's now north of the scoreboard. March, it's further north of the scoreboard because now it's starting to head towards summer, where the sun is going to be circling the northern hemisphere at a much closer position. And now we're in April. You can't even see the scoreboard because it is raising so much further north, starting to warm up the northern hemisphere. And by northern hemisphere, I mean closer to the north. Not on a ball, but on the flat realm, north is in the center. So the sun is getting closer and making smaller circles around the North Pole. So like I said, I wanted to give you some observable, scientific proof that what's going on above us is different than what they say. And just because we've all been programmed to see things a specific way, doesn't mean it's the right way. In fact, when you look at this model, it makes 1,000 times more sense. And you can make sense of it in your head based on what you observe every day. And if you're interested in this app, in this clock, go to flatearthdave.com and use my code. You can go to the App Store too and use my code. And
this is a glass globe that has been depressurized. So it's at a low pressure, and the inside of it has been filled with a noble gas, which is just an inert gas, things like neon, xenon, and argon, and each one of those produces a different color when electricity flows through it.
Alright, I just wanted to be clear that all of those noble gases he mentioned are in the upper atmosphere, and they would be contained by the firmament dome.
That central column on the inside there, what's that? Well, that's a Tesla coil. So the electricity goes in there, it goes around a bunch of coils, and that ball at the top shoots out high voltage and high radio frequency waves. So where can we find plasma in a naturally occurring environment? Well, lightning is plasma. So the Tesla coil on the inside is shooting off these high frequency waves and high voltage, and it wants to be grounded out. It wants to return to its neutral state. If I were to touch it, I create a direct path to the ground. We can see that it's created a high intensity stream of light going to my finger. Whereas if I touch it on the top, it just kind of floats around going directly to my hand because it's following the natural path of the heat, which is rising. Just to recap, we have a glass globe that has been depressurized and filled with a noble gas. We have a Tesla coil shooting out high voltage, high frequency radio waves, creating the fourth state of matter, which is plasma. And as it jumps in between its high and low energy states, it shoots off photons of light, traveling to a direct path, which is, I guess, to my body, down, grounding itself out. That is how this plasma ball actually works.
Let's think about that fluorescent light for a moment. It requires a power source to ionize the gases trapped inside in order to emit light. As it happens, sprites also require an electrical discharge to trigger their fluorescent reaction. You see, inside a storm cloud, there is friction between rising ice crystals, which become positively charged, and sinking soft hail particles, which become negative. These positively charged crystals, in turn, cause a negative shield layer to form in the air above them. When a positive discharge happens in the form of a lightning strike, the cloud becomes neutralized, but the negative shield layer remains. We now believe it is this unstable, negatively charged shield layer that causes electrical breakdown in the upper atmosphere, producing sprites.
If I were to touch it, I create a direct path to the ground.
It is even possible that sprites aren't especially rare. What makes them incredibly difficult to observe is that they occur high in the ionosphere, where they are often hidden by the storm systems that produce them. So, to see a sprite, you need a clear sightline over a thunderstorm.
To push off, because I'm going to lie, don't forget to add that part.
Lay it all again. Listen to him again.
Timestamp me where he says to push off.
We moved and pushed the aircraft forward.
Newton's third law states that for every action, force, in nature there is an equal and opposite reaction. If object A exerts a force on object B also exerts an equal and opposite force on object A.
Oh, looks like it's stopping.
Why did it stop, Libby?
Why don't we continue listening?
Stop and
Shush.
trying to go.
These aren't even thrusters. I don't even know what this is. What this is.
Okay, so we're in a full vacuum now, and it's not able to propel itself forward using the ionic thrust.
Uh-oh.
So you can see without air, it can't push itself forward because the thrust is actually coming from the ions hitting the neutral air. When there's no neutral air there, it can't push itself forward. But now, once we let the air back
almost
in,
like it's some kind of resistance in there, maybe. I don't know.
Did you hear that, Alden?
Did you hear what he said?
Did you hear that?
Come on, let some air back in.
You didn't hear that?
But no,
Did you? Are you going to deny it?
Here we go.
And then it starts going again.
This is a propeller.
No, it's not.
Oh,
No, it's
guys,
not.
still not seeing it. How are you not seeing it? Come on,
All right, let's listen to the explanation now. Everybody, shut up.
Alright, so you can see that the ionic propulsion wasn't able to work in the vacuum. So why has NASA been looking at ion propulsion systems to work in space? Well, the reason it didn't work in our case here is because we were relying on the air around us to be moved and push the aircraft forward. So all you need to do to get an ion thruster to work in space is you need to bring the gas with you. There's no gas in space around you, so you supply the gas that's going to get propelled out the back. And the way it's going to get propelled is not through combustion like a typical rocket booster, but you're actually going to propel it using these electric forces and cause it to be ionized, create this neutral wind that gets ejected out the back, and it pushes the aircraft forward.
Brilliant. You can't bring a localized atmosphere and put it out in space.
Did you say you need to bring air in a vacuum?
Just behind.
I love the way every flurf citation disproves the flurf claim. Yes, you are.
So you need to bring air. You need to bring air for it to push off the air.
Yeah, just like a rocket, you need to bring oxygen.
To push off, right?
No, to combust.
No. It was for the resistance.
Push off. That's what he said. Are you going to disagree?
That's what he just said. To push off. He just said for the resistance.
Alright, so you can see that the ionic propulsion wasn't able to work in the vacuum. So why has NASA been looking at ion propulsion systems to work in space? Well, the reason it didn't work in our case here is because we were relying on the air around us to be moved and push the aircraft forward.
We got rocket engines from before.
How would that work in a vacuum? You can't have a localized. You can't bring a localized.
Just embarrassed yourself.
And just put it at the back of your fucking rocket, can you?
Did they just say we embarrassed ourselves?
You just embarrassed yourself.
Yes, you have.
You need to bring atmosphere.
You just played a reference that directly contradicted your
You
claim.
need to push off
Cool.
atmosphere.
It backed his claim. You need to have something for resistance in a vacuum. For example, the atmosphere.
Where did he say resistance? Or what timestamp me the moment he said resistance?
Play it again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it's the same.
What are you saying?
Why are you all
You need to
embarrassed?
bring the gas with you.
You need to bring the gas with you.
So you supply the gas that's going to get propelled out the back.
And you supply the gas that's going to get propelled out the back.
To push off.
To push off. You just added that little part in there. The push off part.
So object B needs to be the gas that you bring, right?
Forget everything else he said. To push off. Don't forget to add the little part to push off.
Well, the reason it didn't work in our case here is because we were relying on the air around us to be moved and push the aircraft forward. To be moved and push the aircraft forward. To be moved and push the aircraft forward.
Because I'm going to lie. Don't forget to add that part.
Play it all again. Listen to him again. Full thing.
Nice. Go the whole thing.
Listen to the summary.
What timestamp me where he says to push off?
To be moved and push the aircraft forward. To be moved and push the aircraft forward. To be moved and push the aircraft forward.
When he says there's no air in the vacuum to push off. He says it when he's
When he says that,
there's no
he
air
says
in
the
the
reason
vacuum
it
to push
stopped.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what he said.
Well, the reason it didn't work in our case here is because we were relying on the air around us to be moved and push the aircraft forward.
It can't push itself forward.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years.
This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.